So we just picked up this 2001 Ford Mustang GT, the new Edge, as they call them. And obviously, as everybody knows, as soon as you buy a new car, you sometimes get new troubles, new problems. And you know, we didn't get lucky enough on this time. So right off the bat, a few days after driving it, it started giving me problems with the high idle that I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of this online on different forums. And basically what it does is when you come to a stop and you're idling, or you know, this is a 5-speed, so whenever you throw it on neutral, it'll rev higher, like between 1500 and 2000 RPMs, and it won't really go down unless you force it to go down by, you know, sometimes going very slow in gear, but sometimes you don't get as lucky and it'll really over rev. It'll rev at like 3000 RPMs, so you'll be at a stoplight and you're over revving, and it's just not a good time. Now, just as a disclaimer, I have done a couple of other things, so it's not like this is the first item that we're replacing. So we're kind of doing that approach of, like, you know, fixing this and then fixing that, and not really taking it to a shop to get the real answer like you should. But that's what this will be. If anything, this will be the proof that you don't need to be a mechanic to have fun having an older car. Or it might be proof that you should stay away from older cars, because they are a money pit and they just break down if you don't know what you're doing. So I'll show you guys an example right now. So I'm in neutral right now, and we're probably sitting at about 1300 RPMs. I don't know if you guys saw that drop right now. It's pretty hard to see with the sun here, but so now when we take off, it's pretty nice and smooth, nothing crazy. But like if I step on it, and if I just let it go on neutral, right now it's at 2500 RPMs. Right now it stays at 25. It actually jumped to 3000 RPMs. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm on neutral right now, and the car is over revving. It's at 2500 RPM, so clearly a problem right now. If I come to a complete stop, it'll probably just stay over revving at like 2600, which is not good. So what I do, right now it's hitting 3000 RPMs on neutral. 2600 RPMs on neutral. Now if I throw it in gear, I'm going third gear. Obviously the idle comes down, which you know, a lot of the forums, which we'll take a look at right now, a lot of the forums, a lot of people online point towards the idle control air valve, which I did clean last week. You clean it out and, you know, make sure that it's working or whatever, but it didn't fix the issue. It did work for a little bit. It's not as bad as it used to be. But I think what I'll do now, what we'll do is we'll just completely replace the whole part. I mean, it's $60 and it's very easy to do, so might as well we'll just replace it, and then hopefully that fixes the problem. All right, so here's the 4.6 liter. Now, this is the idle air control valve, and this is where it's located. Very straightforward, pretty easy. Again, last time that I took it out, it was just to clean it out, and it was pretty easy, so that's what we're gonna do again. I'll go through some things that I've done already. So first things first, disconnect the cable, the sensor. This is pretty hot because we just went for a drive. Ouch, this is really hot, and actually, might have actually made a mistake. Well, not a mistake, but you know, probably should have let it cool down before doing this. But we do it for the video. Okay. Again, ow! Okay. Now, if you guys want to be a little bit smarter, then you can just let it cool down. Ow. Okay. This is the old gasket. Just make sure it looks pretty similar, and then it goes in. Okay. Oh, I could probably reach it with my fingers, but just to make sure, because usually when you try to reach for something and then you just make it fall even deeper in there, so. Okay. Okay. Some of the things that we've already done, thinking that it would fix the bad idle problem, is we cleaned out the master airflow sensor. We replaced the air filter. I mean, that's just normal maintenance, but again, we replaced the camshaft positioning sensor, which is right here. Replaced the battery terminals, not the cables, just the terminals, because they were very, very old and loose. This is where you gotta be very careful too. You don't want to over tighten one of these bolts. You know, I'm not torquing them to spec, but should be fine, hopefully. So we just put these, this is the air, this is a vacuum line. Get that. And voila. Technically, it should be ready. Hose is in, and that's pretty much it. So now we test it. There's a big tune-up coming soon. I don't think I'm going to record all of that. That's just pretty boring stuff. But this one I thought was interesting because I've seen a lot of things online about it, and although I don't see a difference, nope. Zero difference. That was not it. All right, well, I think the only way to find out is probably going to be driving a few more miles, but just from what I feel, I don't think that was it. Unless the computer needs to just adjust a little bit and readjust, which I don't think so. I mean, you let me know what you think. I don't think you should be having the same problem with a new valve if that was the thing. So, because remember last time that I did it, it was stuck at like 3,000 RPM. So let's see what it does now. Now it's still hovering at like a 22. Oh, it dropped to 1900. I don't know though, because it's still stuck at like 1600 right now, right about now. So I'm not convinced. I mean, it wasn't over revving like last time, over revving at like 3,000 RPMs, but it's, I mean, it's coming back down, but it's still hovering at like 2,200 RPM, so it's not good. I don't think that was the solution, sadly. Obviously, I'm going to drive it a little bit more throughout the day and then finish up with an update probably later tonight. All right, so a quick update and very good news. For the past 2 days, I was driving this car to make sure that I got some miles in since we replaced the idle air control valve. And as you guys saw, when I first replaced it right away, it didn't fix the problem, which made me think that it probably wasn't it. However, I kept driving it for the rest of the nights and then the next day, and it actually went away. Now, something very important to say, I did try this thing called I did try to reset the idle air control valve, which I didn't even know was a thing. But you know, while I was going through a lot of the blogs online, there was one person that said that you could reset it. So I followed some instructions that I saw on a video, which was essentially to, at first they tell you to turn the car off, turn the key to the on position, step on the brake, and then step on the accelerator all the way down while the car is off. You let go off both of the brakes, and then you turn the car off, and then you turn it back on again, and supposedly that resets the valve. Now, I did that, and funny enough, it started working perfectly fine after that. So I'm wondering if all I had to do was to reset that valve after I cleaned it, because I did clean it. I cleaned the original one, put it back on, didn't fix the problem. So I'm wondering if I would have just reset it from the beginning, it might have worked, and you know, potentially I could have saved myself like $70 for the new parts. But yeah, so if you do have this problem with a bad idle, I'm going to make a list. I'm gonna get off and show you guys exactly what it used to do and how it's not doing it anymore. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to see it on the previous clips, where you can see that whenever I would step on the gas and then I would let go off the gas, it would essentially stay at around 3,000 RPMs and it wouldn't come down. And now it hasn't done it for the past 2 days. Like I can get on it very, very hard and it'll be perfectly fine. All right, so the problem that we had before was, let's say right now we're in 4th gear, and whenever I would go into neutral like I just did, you see how the needle for the RPMs dropped to where it's supposed to be. Before, it would just stay at like 2,000 RPMs. So back then, even if I put it on neutral and let go off the gas, it would hover around like 2,000 RPMs, even at 3,000 RPMs sometimes, which could get very annoying if you're at a red light and you're just the only one over revving your engine. And then obviously when you go into 1st gear, it doesn't feel, it's not as smooth. So obviously it had to be fixed. Now, something else that would also happen that kind of threw me off at times was that, there was times where I would start the car up for the first time in the day and it would be working fine. But as soon as I stepped on the gas, like as soon as I went over 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs, the problem would start. Like it would never come down. It would never come back down after that unless I would force it by, slowing down while in gear and stuff like that. But right now, the ultimate test would be to get on a straight road, floor it a little bit, just enough to get to high RPMs, and then throw it into neutral. And as you guys should be able to see, hopefully, it goes back down to 1. But I mean, it's pretty much fixed. I mean, we have been driving it for the past 2 days. It hasn't happened again once. And here, I'll give you guys a better look. So there you go. And I do have the AC on right now, so I don't know if that is making the RPMs a little bit higher, but yeah, I mean, it's a night and day difference now. Before it would never come back down. It would just stay at 3,000 RPMs and it was very annoying. All right, so just for a quick recap, once again, this right here, this little thing right here is the idle air control valve, which we changed, thinking, that it would fix the problem, and it finally did. Keep in mind that prior to that, we did replace the air filter, clean the master airflow sensor. We replaced a camshaft positioning sensor that we got an engine light for, and also cleaned the battery terminals, thinking that, or replaced them rather, thinking that it was potentially making the alternator work harder, which doesn't really make that much sense, but still did it. So for the moment, it's fixed. Been driving around for 2 days. And yeah, once again, this part right here, so if you, and the reset thing, so if you have idle issues, I would recommend cleaning this and then doing the whole reset thing, which I'll link the video that I used for that. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Dislike if you didn't like the video. But that is all we have for today. See ya.